Aturumao, you congress Aturumao. Don't go say, la sana c'est Aturumao. Zayo. Your poso is como se Zayo.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in this conference hall, I'm Alfred D. Newman, Youth Chair, District number 10. This is the official press conference for the National Youth Congress. But prior to doing that, we have county officials here, and I will refer the Secretary General of the Unity Party National Youth Congress elect and now in charge. Please introduce the high table, then we will proceed with the other formalities before he can begin the press conference.
Thank you very much, distinguished members of the press, fellow executive here present, members, cadres and Star Wars of the Evergreen National Youth Congress of the Unity Party. May I seize this most singular opportunity to bring to the attention of members of the press, county chairs that are here in representation of the 15 counties, along with elected officers of the Evergreen National Youth Congress of the Unity Party. From my right, we have County 1, the youth chairperson of Moserado County chapter of the Evergreen National Youth Congress of the Unity Party, Comrade Adula Lomer. Next to Comrade Adula Lomer is the deputy chairperson representing the chairperson of Nima County, Comrade Jefferson Samuel. Next to Comrade Jefferson Samuel is the chairman of the Cape Man chapter of the Evergreen National Youth Congress of the Unity Party, Comrade Orlando Shemo. Next to Comrade Orlando Shemo is the Secretary General of the Babolu chapter of the Evergreen National Youth Congress of the Unity Party, Comrade Emmanuel Kone, representing Charles Lola, here his boss. Next to Babolu County, we have Joshua Gatter. Joshua Gatter is the chairman of the Magibi chapter of the Evergreen National Youth Congress of the Unity Party. And before me there we have the only female in the National Youth Congress. She's the chair lady of the Riverses chapter of the Unity Party, the Evergreen National Youth Congress of the Unity Party, Comrade Justina Johnson. And cause of militants and district officers, district youth coordinators of the 17 electoral district here present, given that this press conference is held here at the national headquarters and in Monrovia, in Moserado County. So we thought it was to have extended our invitations to the 17 electoral district, specifically their youth coordinators. They are all here. Mr. Alfred Daniel Newman, you can take charge.
And so you have gotten the introduction, official introduction of our county officials here present. And in that light, We have called you here, members of the full estate, to make known to you the position of the National Youth Congress as it relates to the ongoing contention regarding the filling in of the position for chairman of the National Youth Congress of the Unity Party.
So,
In that light, we will turn the pendulum over to the National Secretary General, who will make known today the official position of some of the three elected county officials of the National Unity Party and some of the three districts youth chairs positions. Having said that, there will be no question after this release, because in this release, every necessary information is embedded, and we don't want to repeat ourselves. We mean what we say, and that is why we've called you here to make you to know what we have to say. Having said that, Honorable Secretary General, Ambassador Ivan Boymans Tukus, I turn the pendulum of command to you to discharge your duties as we have imposed in you.
Manda!
Word!
Manda!
Word!
Viva, viva, viva is the purpose of the young people. Viva!
Viva!
Viva, 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 viva. In honor all the travel Americans. Viva!
Viva!
Manda!
Word!
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues and members of the press, I want to acknowledge the fact that you were given this most singular honor. And as you're listening to Alfred Daniel Newman, we are here to communicate the official position of the Evergreen National Youth Congress of the Unity Party.
So,
And going forward, the positions reads: the Unity Party National Youth Congress, UPNYC, National Headquarters, Snapper Hills, Broad Street, Monrovia, Liberia. Press statement of the national elected officers and the 15 counties youth chairs of the Unity Party for immediate release. September 21, 2022. Fellow executives, members of the Evergreen National Youth Congress of the Unity Party,
so,
comrade partisans, ladies and gentlemen of the press. The national officers and 15 county chairmen representing the aspiration and collective interests of our respective executive committee, including our 73 district leadership and members of the National Executive Committee of the Evergreen National Youth Congress of the Unity Party,
so,
disagree of the Unity Party, totally disagree, and will reject the basis upon which some members of the National Coordinating Committee of the Unity Party have managed matters arising from the deferred convention since the July 2022 National Convention held in Banga City, Bon County. We want to state incisively that we reject the unlawful, unreasonable, unjustifiable proposal advanced by the compromised Clarence Mazakwa Election Committee to cast a white ballot for Mr. Toga Melvin Cephas and Mr. Sarah L. Green Jr. to dubiously ascend to the position of National Youth Chairman and National Vice Chair for Administration, respectively, of the Evergreen National Youth Congress of the Unity Party.
so,
Distinguished members of the press, below we provide a basis upon which we reject the political maneuvering, master manner, and crafted to serve the prevented interests of few members of the National Coordinating Committee of the Unity Party. First, they will begin with integrity. Article 6, Section 5 of the United Party Constitution states alternatively that the national officer of the Youth Congress and the Women Congress shall be elected by the youth and the females in attendance at the National Convention of the United Party in separate plenary. Of such youth and female delegates. In so doing, casting of any web ballot can only be done legally through the reconvening of a convention of the Youth Congress that was deferred at the Bangladesh Convention. Fellow Liberian, fellow members of the party, fellow executive, members of the Fourth Estate. The new United Party Constitution, Article 7, Section 1, also states that the National Convention shall be the supreme and final authority of the United Party, vested with legislative policy-making power, electoral power, managerial power, and authority over all matters of the party. And among other power, the National Convention shall exercise the below, and the matter arising thereof shall be done through a resolution signed by a two-thirds majority of the delegates present. It will interest you, fellow members of the press, fellow executive, and fellow partisans home and abroad. It will interest you to know that the sole resilience of few bipartisans in the National Coordinating Committee of the Unity Party is a redundant letter from the Compromise Act called Clarence Election Committee requesting the Convention Committee not to reopen the deferred vacant positions of the Youth Congress for which election were held. This recommendation was never accepted, as such, was not included in the resolution emanating from the convention. How then can anyone think that they straight face say that they want to cast a web banner for a lone candidate at the secret location for fear of competition? Distinguished member of the press, it can be recalled that consists of the resoluted items at the Bangladesh Convention says, and I read, that it was resolved that due to the protest filed against two contestants of the National Youth Congress, namely for the position of National Vice Chair on Youth Affairs and Deputy Vice Chair for Youth Affairs for Administration, and because there weren't sufficient time to investigate and resolve the contest, the convention decided to postpone the election for the aforementioned position to a future date when the matter has been properly investigated and resolved. Distinguished member of the press, not that the National Coordinating Committee have come to us, informing us, convening our national youth delegate, informing us officially of the matter being resolved, and thereby asking our opinion to reopen or reconvene the delegate process, but wanting to cast a web ballot at an unknown destination, which we intend to resist to the poll. Fellow partisans, there is nowhere in the above term that I just read in the resoluted items at the Bangladesh Convention that says that it is prohibited to reopen the position for accepting new application considering the political exigency and the constitutional violation that will occur. Distinguished members of the press, a major reason of calling for the reopening of the process is contingent on the fact that we can have our national chairman, Reverend Dr. Luther Tapia, hailing from Rivers County, and also have the national chairman of the Youth Congress hailing from Rivers County. Article 78E of the Liberian Constitution prohibit that and shall conform to the provision of the Constitution. I repeat, Article 78E of the Liberian Constitution prohibits that. According to Article 78E, the Constitution and the rules of the political parties shall confront the provision of the Constitution, provide for the democratic election of officers in or governing body at least once every 6 years, and ensure that the election of officers from as many of the region and ethnic groupings of the country as possible. It was in fulfillment of this provision of our organic law, which supersedes all other laws in the Republic of Liberia, that led Councillor Vani Shemo, who was elected as national chairman, and hailed from Grand Cape Mount County to request the National Executive Committee of the Unity Party to ask Comrade Henry Boyman Famule, who was also elected as National Secretary General at the same 2010 convention in Ganta, to have relinquished and resign his position, which is he obeyed, and the process was reopened, which brought in former Chairman Wilmot JMP as National Secretary General and became one of the best National Secretary General ever in our current history of the Unity Party. Consequently, we must implement this law accordingly to ensure that our party remains legally upright and to also prevent weakling from ascending at the echelon of the leadership of the Evergreen National Youth Congress of the Unity Party. Or a silver plateau Harari. The Women Congress had a shared competition for 8 chairpersons. The national leadership had its own fair share. Likewise, the Youth Congress should have its own fair share in competition. Distinguished members of the press, the Evergreen National Youth Congress is the fulcrum and mitochondria of the Unity Party, and it is a beacon of hope for the victory of the Unity Party and Joseph Nima Bouaka for the ensuing election comes 2023. The Youth Congress of the Unity Party is not in short of supplies of competent youth to steer the affairs of the Congress. We cannot and will not succumb to a web ballot King Kong to lead the most powerful organ of the party. Distinguished members of the press, we also want to use this medium to inform the national leadership and all well-meaning partisans and Liberians that while we await the reconvening of the National Youth Convention for the purpose of electing and inducting into offices the new elected National Youth Chairman and National Vice Chair for administration respectively, we want to ensure and inform you here that Comrade Lassana P. Fofana remains the acting youth chairman in the absence of Chairman Curtis V. Dolly as the deferral of the youth convention implicate the workings of the youth congress. Until then, election is held and those elected officers are inducted into offices, the primacy here and all past elected officers and other past elected officers that were seeking re-election or not, even on the National Convention in Banga, in their various official capacity and held on until those that were elected were inducted into offices. We want to admonish and at the same time use this medium to inform our partisans that our action is in no way trying to hold the party stagnated, but rather to prevent the party from a catastrophic and irremediable setback that few members of the National Coordinating Committee want to impose on us through the casting of web ballot. Finally, we call on Chairman Luther Tate to resist the temptation of being pressured to organize an illegitimate process of casting a web banner in the absence of reconvening the National Youth Convention. Doing so will leave the leadership of the 15 counties and 73 elected